Yeah, I've been paid.
Yeah, me too.
Told you, mate.
Whoa, that's pretty tight.
Yeah, that's what she said.
He's so funny.
The movie opens on a mysterious island where two men are screaming in agony, their cries echoing through the thick, humid air. Both are strapped to gaming tables, trembling in pain. Then, in a horrifying moment, a group of guards storms in and savagely cuts out their tongues, intensifying their torment. But what exactly is going on here? To understand that, we need to go back to where it all began. A few weeks earlier, a group of travelers was on a bus, headed for what they thought would be a once-in-a-lifetime island trip. One of them, Jude, had won the trip by playing an online game. His prize allowed him to bring as many guests as he wanted, so he invited his childhood friend Andy, along with Andy's wife and father. From his own side, Jude brought his wife Heather and his younger brother. When the group finally arrived at the island, they were greeted with warm smiles and luxury service at the hotel. Moments later, a woman from the gaming company arrived.
Oh, please sit down.
She congratulated Jude personally, then offered him a new challenge, a game called All Rounds. The grand prize? Up to $20 million. Andy immediately felt uneasy. Something about the offer didn't sit right with him. The woman explained one disturbing rule. Once the players were strapped to the gaming table and the round began, there was no quitting. Andy tried to talk Jude out of it. "Man, this doesn't feel right," he said. "We don't even know what this game really is." But Jude couldn't see past the flashing dollar signs in his head. $20 million, that was all he cared about. Eventually, the two friends entered the gaming arena. The host appeared on a platform and announced, "Welcome, gentlemen. Let's begin round one." The first round prize was $10,000, and the rules seemed deceptively simple. In front of each player were two buttons, one red and one blue. If both pressed red, the prize money would be split evenly. If both pressed blue, neither would win, and both would owe the company $10,000. But if one pressed red and the other pressed blue, the player who pressed blue would take all the money, while the one who pressed red would owe the company $10,000. At first, it seemed easy, just press red and split the cash. But Andy began to suspect that Jude might betray him and press blue to take it all. The tension between them boiled over into an argument. After a few minutes, they both cooled down and agreed to trust each other. Finally, they pressed their buttons, both red. The host smiled. "Well done, gentlemen." Seconds later, their phones buzzed. Each had received $5,000. The company had really paid them. Jude's face lit up with excitement. Then the host asked calmly, "Would you like to continue playing?" Andy didn't hesitate. "No way. I'm done." But Jude wouldn't stop. "Come on, man," he said. "It's just a game. What's the worst that could happen?" Andy still couldn't shake the sense of dread creeping through him. Eventually, Jude's greed got the better of both of them. Andy reluctantly agreed to another round. This time, as they sat back down, metal cuffs locked around their wrists, binding them to the table. The host's voice echoed coldly. "From this moment on, you cannot leave the game." Then came the new rules. If both pressed red, each would win $50,000, but one finger from each of them would be cut off. If one pressed red and the other blue, the red button player would lose a finger and owe $100,000, while the blue button player would lose nothing. But if both pressed blue, they would each owe $100,000, and both of their hands would be cut off. This time, Jude laughs. He thinks the whole thing is a joke, while Andy becomes visibly panicked when he realizes they're in real trouble. Jude tries to calm him down, saying there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a prank. They agree to press the red button, but at the last second, Jude betrays him and presses the blue button. Immediately, $100,000 is wired into Jude's account, and at the same instant, one of Andy's fingers is severed. The truth hits them. The host wasn't joking. It's real. Jude goes white. Both men demand the game stop. The host replies, "No, you can't stop now. The rules don't allow leaving the game. I warned you before, even if you try to quit, you'll lose your life." Then the next round begins. The prize? $500,000. A camera drops into view. The whole world is watching, and the company is raking in huge sums from viewers. Furious, Andy turns to Jude. "You stabbed me in the back for money. You hit the blue." The host urges them to put the past behind them and play the round. The audience wants a show. This time, both press the red button. According to the rules, money is deposited into both their accounts, but each has a finger cut off. Andy had already endured that pain earlier, but Jude screams in agony like a man gone mad. After some time, when he's calmer, he asks the host why she's doing this. She answers, "It's nothing personal. I'm on payroll. This isn't my business. I'm just doing my job." Round 3 begins. Now they must stake the lives of people they love, relatives. Andy's father and Jude's brother are brought forward, held as hostages. The terms are explained. If both press red, they both get the money, but their relatives will have their eyes gouged out. If both press blue, both players become the company's debtors and their relatives are executed. If one presses red and the other blue, the blue presser wins all the money and his relative is spared, while the red presser must pay $100,000 to the company and his relative will die. They realize, no matter what, someone will die. A brutal argument erupts. Jude tells Andy to press red. His father has lived a long, full life, and Jude's brother deserves a chance. Andy refuses. They argue harder. They try every way to save their relatives, but in the end, both press blue. Their loved ones are mercilessly killed before their eyes, and both men are left with a crushing debt of $1 million. Jude blames Andy for his brother's death, though the tragedy really stems from Jude's own greedy decisions and mistakes that got them trapped in the game. The host gives them a brief break, then starts the next round. This round is worse. Both of their wives are brought forward, their lives on the line. The rules are the same. If both press red, they each receive $5 million, but both wives will have their tongues cut out. If both press blue, both wives are killed. If one presses red and the other blue, the blue presser wins the money and his partner's wife is spared. The red presser takes on $5 million in debt and his wife dies. In those last moments, both women are allowed their final words. Andy's wife, eyes full of tears, says, "I love you so much. If we make it through, we'll spend the rest of our lives together." Heather tells Jude she's pregnant, but the host's heart remains cold. Jude, elated by the news, urges Andy to press red so their wives might be saved. Instead, Jude betrays Andy again and presses blue. Jude walks away with $5 million and Heather's life is spared. Andy's wife is brutally killed in front of him. Andy breaks. His spirit collapses. The host, clapping and delighted, says, "Wonderful! The game's almost over. Now Andy has nothing left to lose." The host smiles and says, "Jude is his true friend, right? So why not put Jude's life on the line this time?" The rules for the new round are the same. If both press red, there's a reward. But now the price is even worse. One eye from each of them will be cruelly gouged out. Everything else remains unchanged. If one presses red and the other blue, the blue presser wins and keeps his eye, while the red presser has both eyes gouged out and becomes the company's debtor. If both press blue, the game ends immediately, and both players will be sentenced to death. Now Andy, furious with Jude, said, "I'm done talking to you. Yeah, I'll hit the blue button, because I just want this to be over already." Jude tried everything to calm him down, but Andy wouldn't budge. His mind was made up. Their time ran out, and the next round was about to begin. Even though Andy had made his decision, he couldn't bring himself to kill his friend. In the end, both of them pressed the red button. They won the prize money, but under the game's brutal rules, the hotel staff forcibly gouged out one of each of their eyes. Screaming in agony, both men thrashed in pain. The host, however, stood by completely unfazed. In a cold, detached tone, she said, "All of this is for the entertainment of our viewers, who've paid a fortune to watch this show." Then, the final round began. This time, Heather, the one who had previously escaped, was caught and brought back. Jude pleaded, "Please, let my pregnant wife go," but the host ignored him and announced that not only was Heather's life on the line, but she'd now have to play the game herself. Andy and Jude were placed on the same team again, but only Andy had control of the button. On the other side, Heather was handed 2 cards, one red, one blue. The rule was simple. If both Heather and Andy chose red, all 3 of them would live and win $20 million, but each would lose one eye. If one chose red and the other chose blue, the one who chose blue would win the money and their life, while the one who chose red would die. If both chose blue, all 3 would be executed and the money would go back to the company. Jude begged Heather to pick the red card. It was their only chance to survive. Heather agreed, but Andy didn't trust her for a second. He laughed bitterly and said he knew exactly how manipulative and greedy she was, that she'd only married Jude for his money. Tears streaming down her face, Heather pleaded, "Please, press the red button. I'm pregnant. I just want to live with Jude and raise our baby together." Andy hesitated, but her emotional plea broke through his anger. Finally, he pressed the red button. Then Heather's true face came out. She wiped away her fake tears and revealed the blue card instead of the red one. Seeing this, Andy burst into dark laughter, while Jude froze in disbelief, completely shattered by her betrayal. Moments later, it was revealed that Heather wasn't even pregnant. She'd lied just to save herself. As punishment, both Jude and Andy were shot dead, and Heather walked away with all the money. The host thanked the audience and declared the game over. Sometime later, a new game began, but this time the host was Heather herself, now earning millions by playing with the lives of others. And that's where the movie ends.